Mamas, ladies, aunties, who else is listening?
Grannies.
Daddies.
Anyone with melanated babies.
We've got 11 of them between all four of us. And here on this podcast, that means a lot of doctor's appointments, play dates, and bath times.
Especially for you and them twins, girl, because they just like to mess with you.
I know, but we're making it through, which is why we are so excited to have our partner, Proudly. Brought to you by the Wades, Gabrielle Union, and Dwayne Wade, Proudly products are co-designed by a Black dermatologist who studied and selected ingredients to nourish melanated skin.
Plus, they're affordable. On Proudly.com, all individual products are under $12. Our friends at Proudly know that high quality, good for baby products shouldn't come with a luxury price tag.
And look, we want you to join the Proudly family as well. Right now, if you spend $50 at Proudly.com, you will get 20% off your order with our code BLACKLOVE, and that's all one word, BLACKLOVE.
This excludes subscriptions, but listen, we just told y'all that all individual products are under $12. That means you can try the calming spray, the nourishing oil, the gentle touch baby wipes. Just go to Proudly.com and use BLACKLOVE to get 20% off your order. Hit us up on Instagram at the Mama's Den Podcast and let us know your favorites.
This is Melanie, and welcome to the Mama's Den.
Welcome.
Hello.
And although we are all moms and we talk about mom stuff, I think that as women, we're still humans. Let's not us forget. And there's a lot of stuff that I think we go through personally that we don't get to talk about because, things come along, especially once you have a family, once you have a business, once you're a professional, these things start to take precedence in your life. But, we had a whole social life. We got friends and girlfriends and parts of ourselves that are a part of it. And as we grow and as we change, a lot of those dynamics and those friendships change too. And sometimes it's really hard to accept those things because you wonder why. Like, you still feel like you're still being the same person. So you expect everyone else to still be the same person. But you actually are changing as a person. People around you are changing. And I feel like there's always a breakdown in communication.
Oh, no, I was going to send this to you guys real quick. It's a good reference for this podcast. No, I
read it. Whatever.
No, because I was talking to Jerome and I was like, "What were we talking about when we were on the phone?" And I'm just gonna read it real quick so it could plant some seeds in your head.
Wait, I have a seed. I don't want to forget.
Okay, go. Well, then why'd you tell me to read it?
Well, because it was important to you to show it to Melanie while I was talking.
I was so confused. I'm looking, this is a good seat. Because I was like, what's happening?
I don't know what to do.
I'm feeling like Crystal today.
There's a whole dynamic.
All right, go ahead, play.
All I was trying to say is, because I'm sure this is about to be robust, right? But you were talking about too how we're changing. Well, man, now I gotta remember exactly how you said it. But sometimes we expect things to remain the same, and that's part of it. But the other part of it too is the recognition that we are changing, and sometimes other people expect us to remain.
Mm-hmm. But I think so. Let's start with that question. Do you feel like your transition to either partnership, motherhood, professionalism changed particular friendships in your life? Like where people, once you got to a certain place in your life, they just switched on you?
Go ahead.
Really, me? So what I'll say is that in 2016, when I was pregnant with Brooks, I had 2 fallouts with friends. And it was so painful because lifelong friends. Mm-hmm. And it was so painful because it was they individually, 2 different events, were mad about things that they didn't want to communicate about. And I was increasingly less patient. I don't have time to. I care so much that I want us to talk about this, fix it, and move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was this dance of I'm not ready to talk.
God,
and I'm
I hate that
bitch,
shit.
I'm more and
They
more
have kids?
pregnant.
They have kids?
One, yes.
One has kids.
And it was really bad. It was very painful. It was really bad. It has changed to this day, for sure. But what I felt as I was more and more pregnant, because one of them kind of culminated at my baby shower, was just I don't have the patience to wait around and think, be worried about your feelings, because I do care about your feelings. But if you don't care about our friendship enough for us to talk through it and move forward, then I don't have the space for it. Yeah. And that was definitely the beginning of recognizing that boundary.
Come on, Felicia.
Yes.
Felicia
She's
triggered.
got her hands on her
I'm
temple.
holding my head because I'm this is just, because I'm going through the same thing. And my biggest thing is I don't have time to worry about your emotions, and not in an insensitive way, but I have two human beings that I have to constantly figure out how are you feeling, what's going on, communicate. I'm not doing that with the grown-ass adult. I can't do it, especially if you don't have the same responsibility of like being a parent. You know, that's why I asked, like, do they have kids? Because I feel like, is it necessarily that they switched up on me? I'm like, no, I low-key think I switched up on you. My responsibilities and the shit that I have to show up for looks different than what you're talking about. You know, I'm like, I'm not talking about petty little shit. I'm like, I have real responsibilities. And like,
and if you can't articulate what's wrong with you, then I certainly can't figure it out.
I feel like you can own, like, you know, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, whatever that saying is. It's just like, I feel like if I'm taking the time to say, hey, I recognize that there's something going on here. Can we, like, are we cool? Is there something to talk about here? And you don't take that opportunity, Lord God, we are good. I've posed it to you. That's on you now. I have taken the first step, whether one of us was hesitant to or not. Like, if you are going to dance around this or you want to suppress or you're not ready, then you need to come back when you are. And I'll let you know if I still have room for you. I'll let you know if I still have room for you. Because
Zen might be tripping in the moment. We don't know.
You know what I mean?
Took your patience.
Zen done took all the Zen. You know, because I find that for me personally, the place that I'm at in my life at this point, I feel like when I was younger, for sure, especially pre-kids, you know, falling out with a friend was the end of the world. Oh my gosh. And
it's still painful.
Yeah, it's almost like you're grieving.
Like, what? I feel like the place that I'm at now, unless I feel like it's something that I have absolutely done, where I have been like, damn, I feel really bad about that. And it makes me sad that I don't have the opportunity to resolve this situation, whether this person is just cut off, like whatever. But I've also come to a place in my life where I'm just like, people are going to do what they want to do. They're not going to do what they don't want to do. And I'm cool. Like, I've also recognized that not every, you know, they say people come into your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, whatever it is. Not everybody falls into every category. So you just have to decide. So I start to look at if it's costing me too much of my time. And there's like a, you know, return on investment type stuff. It's like what you're putting in, are you getting back? Because that's what it has to be. Like, this cannot be with friends now at this point in my life. Don't be draining my energy. You know, I consider myself to be a very good friend. I show up the way that I can. I am accountable for my absence, whatever it is in the ways, but I also too am in a place now, and I'm happy to say this, that I have friends and women around me that are just like, say less, fam, we get it.
So Debbie
because
Brown,
I don't need to manage nobody's emotions.
I'm not doing that.
Debbie Brown said, I'm not here for anything that is not mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
And people took issue with that, right? Oh, sounds so selfish.
No, it doesn't.
But like all she was saying, what she was saying is like, in that part, I know how much I love me, but also I know how much I give.
Yeah.
So why on earth would I accept anything less
Come on, sis.
from you?
Like, I don't even treat myself like that. What are we talking about? I remember, so there's one homegirl that I finally was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. It was just too much. And then when she's like, I've been feeling this way for 2 years. I'm like, so you've been
that's a you
around.
problem.
I'm like, you've been standing around. And it was like, well, I wanted to tell you 2 years ago, but you know, I just didn't have the words. No. And you know, the way you weren't showing up. No. Oh, you talking about when me and their father separated? How the fuck you want me to show up, girl? I'm like, so it's like little stuff like that. And I'm like, no, that's selfish. I'm like, you didn't even ask, are you good?
Yep.
Like, nothing.
I don't like people like that. Now, that shit bothers me to my fucking core. When people tell me that they've been mad, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When people tell me that they've been mad at me for fucking years.
Oh my God.
Girl, I'm like,
you've been kicking. No, but that's some psycho shit.
You've
been
my resources
kicking it with me. No, but like
asking for help.
We've gone out.
I'm
to
like,
eat.
I don't like that.
We've been on the phone, Ken. We've been having girls' nights and shit.
Scary.
And the whole time you've been feeling a way about me.
And
that's that shit I don't fucking like.
That's
because
that tricky shit.
First of all, you don't give someone the opportunity to make it better. So like low key, you're like a sadist. Like that's sick. Like you just want to be mad. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to let the person make it right with you. You just want to have. I feel like some people want to have some shit in the bank. Like I just want to be mad at you about some shit. So then when something else
if you bring up something to me, I can throw this
bring
back.
up that shit you did 10 years
and
ago.
you like, wait, I don't even remember that day. What you talking about?
I fell out with one of my best friends of 15 years, godmother of my child, after my wedding, and she wrote me like a 6-paragraph with no fucking typos. So those were her real ass feelings, okay? Because she reviewed it. I'm talking about the grammar
she
was
had somebody
perfect.
else read
Honey,
it.
wasn't no grammar, punctuation, no misspellings, nothing. It was a perfect paper for a teacher. And she sent me that email, and I'm like, what? Like the stuff in that email, I was like, how could you have been my friend if you felt that way about me? That's crazy as hell. I've never felt that way about nobody. And one thing like some of my friends would get upset with me about is I definitely am a tell you in the moment person. Like I don't hold shit in you. You know me. If I'm hot, I'm hot. If I don't like what you did, I don't like it. I'm like, yo, I didn't like that. And I'm very honest about my feelings. Like, and I feel like sometimes in female friendships, we won't tell each other when we're jealous or feel left out. I definitely would be like, yo, I feel left out. Oh, why y'all didn't call me? Like that type of vibe. And then tell me what it is. You know what I mean? I remember my friends used to be like, well, you don't have a car, Ashley, so they were like, stop inviting me to places. And I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, I can take the Coda bus. You know what I mean? Like, just weirdo shit. But then what's crazy is I used to be the broke friend, right? Definitely was a friend, like, can I use your phone? Didn't have a cell phone. Like, just, I grew up in the hood. I had no money. And I feel like as soon as I started doing better for myself, all of those friendships changed. And I realized like a lot of people were hanging around me because they wanted me to be the one friend that was doing worse than them. And then when I started doing good, then all of a sudden, Ashley, you changed. You funny acting. You mean I'm happy? I'm not poor anymore. I'm not asking to use your cell phone anymore. Like now it's an issue because my man loves me and I'm in a healthy relationship. Because when I was in my toxic relationship and I was always complaining about my ex, y'all never had a problem with that. You wanted to hang out with me. You know, it was never an issue. But then when Chia loves me, now I'm funny acting. Like, that's weird. And I just feel like when people act like that, it's more telling about them than it is you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you got to let those friendships go because it's like, and yes, it hurts. Because also when you keep people in your life and you excuse their behavior, but then when you do something wrong, they like cut you off. That shit is also infuriating. Because it's like, I done forgave you for 18 things and you won't talk to me for one thing.
That part.
That's also like, damn.
And I think too, like listening to like the crux of some of this too, something you said about the 6-page letter and how like she was holding all this in, but that you're very much a person that's like, I'm gonna tell you how I feel in the moment. Now everybody's not like you, right? And everybody's not like her. And I think that like what we've all experienced is like relationships are hard. Like relationships are challenging. We're not always gonna like whoever we love. We're not always gonna like them, right? But like we have a responsibility to communicate our emotions as maturely as we can. I will say as quickly as we can, but you know, in health and in healthy ways, to preserve and strengthen our relationships. And I think that as we grow into adulthood, motherhood, wifehood, whatever it is, it becomes entrepreneurship. Like it becomes more challenging to do that, but the responsibility is still there. Yeah. And when people in our lives don't step up to that plate and want to hold against us, you know, whatever we've done without telling us or without giving us grace for all of those things, all of those hats that we wear, like that's when these friendships start to fall apart.
Well, absolutely. I think like this also too, we're all at a very interesting place in our lives. We're in our 30s. I just turned 40. Like, thankfully, I still have friends that I've been friends with since I was in my early 20s. One of my best friends I've been friends with since I was 15, and we're still in each other's lives. I spoke to her on the way here today. And I feel like that it's not impossible, but it is a rarity. Like, absolutely, we shouldn't actually be expected to maintain friendships with people that we've outgrown and that people who do not grow with you, because I think that that's the whole purpose of relationships in general. I think whether it's romantic, professional, like people change, people grow, but the goal is to grow together
and to relate, and relationships.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like this expectation for it's like, if I got to keep looking back to try to bring you up to a level where I'm at because this is how I am. And again, like I said, I have so many friends around me who operate on the same level as me. Yep. So it's like, why am I'm holding on to it for the sentimental feeling of you being my friend when I was 22 and when we went
loyal, that loyal
on
thing.
that trip. Like, no, I'm good. Oh, and you were at my 25th birthday party and you were my bestie then. Yeah, but girl, you're not no more. Girl, so like, you know, and it's like, love you, but love you from a distance. Not no more. You know, and so that's the thing. Like, I have a girlfriend of mine who I've been friends with since I was 9 years old. And I love her. I love her to this day. And I remember she called me earlier on this year and she was like, you know, I really want to apologize. She said, because I feel like I have neglected our friendship. She says, because like I don't call the way that I should and I don't show up. And you know, she said, I think I'm going to have to unfollow you on social media because I feel like it's giving me a false sense of being in your life because, you know, I feel like I know what's going on, but I realize I'm actually not putting in the effort to call and pick up the phone and do things. And I was like, girl, I love you. I get it. And I'm like, I want you to feel whole within yourself. I don't want you to feel like I'm sitting over here mad at you. I'm not. I get it. I love you to the end. And she was just like, but I need you to hold me accountable as a friend. I still haven't heard from her.
Okay. Did you hold her?
I wasn't
accountable?
ready.
I tried calling her a couple of times.
Ready for that last.
But this is what I'm saying. I know everybody. By the way, behind y'all,
I'm literally crying. And
Cody
I
was tearing up.
Oh.
Cody, everybody was like, "This is so nice." And girl hasn't called me.
Okay.
Has not called me.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like you asked me to hold you accountable. So when I speak to you, I am going to hold you accountable.
Oh.
You know, but I love her, and I'm not mad about it.
No,
I mean, I'm not mad about it because what I recognize is that she recognizes that she's struggling with something.
Yeah.
And so as her friend, I'm growing. I'm going to continue to grow. But sis, I've tried to call you a couple of times too to do what we said we were going to do, and you're still not rising to the occasion of what you said. So that's okay.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you and I love you nonetheless. And it's just what it is. And I recognize that she's just going through her own stuff.
Yeah.
But even just that small amount of accountability gave us, I think, like extra years on our friendship.
Yeah,
Because time and space can create distance. But I'm also at this place in my life where I want friends where I can pick up and right where I left off with them.
Yes.
And nobody's taking it personally.
Girl.
That's my favorite one. Because I'm like, we all in the same boat.
Listen, when someone's like, you didn't call me back, bitch, I got 4 kids. Like, what are you talking about? I do not want friendships where I feel like I have to, like, you know, with us, I feel like any of us, you could be like, I'm going to call you back. If I don't hear from you in 3 days, I know you alive, girl. You have children. You know what I mean? Like, I don't take that type of stuff personally. Yeah. And I think a lot of people who, even if they have children, if they live their lives differently than you, they don't understand that. And that's the thing. Like, you could be at home stressed out and trying to do all this stuff, like how you said your morning is, right? Like, your morning is different than my morning. Even though mine is stressed, I might have a little more time where I could probably hop on a call and talk to somebody while I'm getting ready. You don't have time for that.
No, ma'am.
You're right. And so, like, being understanding of your friends' lives, I think, is super important in a friendship, and being respectful of that and realizing, like, we don't all live the same way. You know what I mean? And not trying to hold your friends to unrealistic expectations. Like, if you're super bored and and it's not shade, but like, if you don't have a relationship, if you don't have children, you have more free time than your friend that is in a relationship that has children. So you definitely both have to try to make time for one another, but you also have to have a realistic expectation of your partner, of your friendships, of whatever. And I think that people don't, and they look for their friends to be everything. And as we're getting older, that's how our friendships were, though. Remember when we were in high school?
Absolutely.
It was everything.
It was everything, yeah.
Well, you ain't gonna be nobody's everything in the 30s. It's just not gonna happen. Like,
I'm not
period.
interested in that.
No.
Like, I don't want to be my friend's everything.
It's draining.
I'm like, it's a lot.
Yeah. I actually look at some friends who, like, they're in their adulthood and their crew is like everything to them. Like, oh, we ain't doing nothing without the crew. Da 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 da.
Yep.
I'm just like, what? You
my
have children and like a whole partner.
Even if I
like,
didn't have kids,
but like that to me seems like, now mind you, it's just a different way. It's not my way. It doesn't speak to my sensibilities. But, you know, people who really just get it is where I'm at. It's just like, do you get me at this point? You know my intentions. You know my life. And also to your point of like, if I don't call you back or whatever, it's not like, my thing is that if you need me, hey, let me know when you have 5 minutes. I really need to talk to you about something. Like, make it known. Don't expect me to be like, you just calling to be like, hey, girl, I went to Nordstrom and picked up this cute dress. Like, no, if you need me, tell me you need me. And I will do my best, you know what I mean, to show up for you. But that assuming and then the projection and the harboring of resentment, it's just such a vicious cycle. I don't have time for that right now. Like, literally do not have time for it.
No, absolutely not. I'm going to tell you something Jerome said, you guys. It's really good. He said it can be 0% your fault and 100% your responsibility. So you have to give yourself grace in relationships and like understand that even if something's ending, it doesn't have anything to do with you, but it's your responsibility to properly like communicate how you feel and then just let it be where it is. And I think that's like you said that you just had to let a friendship go. That's what I had to do too. Like, I had a friend mad at me because I need you guys to tell me if I'm wrong, because I've really just been sitting thinking about this. But like, I don't know what you're supposed to do when you're friends with people and they live very differently than you, right? And so there's a space where someone's telling you that they're doing something. And for me, I'm the type of friend, if you tell me, don't tell me shit that's like that I don't need to know, right? Don't tell me that you're going to rob a bank. Don't tell me none of that shit, because I'm going to be like, you're stupid, that's dumb, blah, blah, blah. But like, I'll send some money to you while you're in jail because I'm still your friend. But like, don't tell me about that shit because I'm going to give you my opinion. So like, if you tell me you're doing something that's completely inappropriate, am I wrong?
Like morally incorrect or like?
So that's crazy because like morals, like what are morals, right? You know, everybody has a different moral, but like
going against your morals.
Yes, against my morals is like dating other people that are married and like that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So like if you're doing something that I'm against and I share that, I was considered a bad friend for being like, that's not cool. Like, you don't need to do like, that's wrong. And it was expressed to me that I was being judgmental and and as a real friend, I should just be supportive if they're happy.
I think you know the answer to this.
I think you do too.
Because
I think we all know
because
the answer
some
to this.
people agree with said person, and they all getting together and called me and Nalo the toxic twins because we like to tell people that they're wrong when they're wrong. So like, I'm like, well, are me and Nalo toxic because we tell people that they shouldn't do stuff like that? Like, I might be. Am I tripping?
I think there's twofold, right? I think that like when you said I express my opinion.
Yes.
Now I'm not gonna say devil's advocate because you always say the
real
devil don't need no advocates.
Be real.
But if we were just to talk through it, it's just be like some people are just like, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Some people are like, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, if you give it, then it's like, wait, I didn't ask for your opinion. No,
Right.
but mind you, if they come to you and are asking, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say, I think this is shady as hell.
Okay.
Now they're saying that you're being judgmental. It's like, well, you asked me what my opinion is. I don't agree with this.
When someone doesn't ask you your opinion, but they tell you something outlandish, you're supposed to just ignore it. Like, I can't be having dinner with you and you be like, yeah, girl, I went to so-and-so's house and slept with the man and blah, blah, blah. And I'm gonna be like, did you have fun? Like, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
I have
about?
Yeah,
thought
no,
too.
I
I totally
agree.
agree. I agree with Melanie, but I also think there's another side to look at. There's another way to look at it.
Okay.
Because the word judgmental is like a weird word, because like giving your opinion doesn't necessarily mean you're judgmental.
No.
Right? So it's kind of like what happens after that. But the other thing is, does knowing this information change how you feel about the person?
Yes.
Doesn't mean exactly.
Yes.
So I'm not even calling that judgmental. My point is, you genuinely you had a shift. You were like, dang,
Yes.
this person is doing something that I think is completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
And now they are inappropriate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it changed the way you felt about that person.
And maybe I wasn't being honest with myself about that.
Well, I wouldn't. Maybe.
Because
Maybe.
if you project onto someone
Exactly.
else, yes, and
Yes.
that's what I was doing.
So they felt the
Right.
projection, and thus that's the judgment, right?
Okay, that's
it's
valid.
like, no, you're looking at me cross-eyed. Well, that's because I think you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they felt, and that doesn't make. I don't think that makes you toxic. The
I
reality
don't
is,
think so
you have
either.
to honor, no matter what. You
Yeah.
have to honor what you feel.
like your values and stuff.
Yeah, but that is with that taking responsibility, because I do think that, speaking for myself, sometimes maybe I do that where I won't cut someone off, but I will continuously remind them or say something about what they're doing. That is like, I don't know, maybe that is toxic or just immature, or I don't know what the proper word for it is, but just if you don't agree with the way someone's living, then you yourself should back away and not
Yes.
continuously
Yeah,
make
yeah,
that
yeah.
person
Yeah.
feel bad
Correct.
about
I
the way
agree
that
with
they're
that.
living their
So
life.
you feel like this person backed away from you rather than you backing away from them.
Absolutely. She did. She was like, I can't be around you because you always have something to say about what I'm doing. And she was right. Like, but I still wanted to be her friend. Like, I didn't want to stop being friends, but I just was like, I cannot support what you're doing. And every time you bring it up to me, I'm going to say something.
Don't talk to me
That's
about it.
crazy.
That's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say.
Don't talk to me about
like
it then.
creating a boundary. That's
Right.
why I've had to
Yeah.
talk to my therapist about that with a friend. And I'm like, I love this person to death. I'm like, but there's some things that I just don't agree with. I'm
Yeah.
like, but I don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to be your friend. 'Cause I
Right.
know you're not
Yeah.
a bad person, but
Yeah.
you're just making poor choices
Exactly.
in this
Yeah.
moment.
Yes.
So now it's like, if she comments or says anything about what she's doing, then I've kind of gotten to a space of, okay, I'm just going to be quiet. And then if it's, oh, it sounds like she's asking me a question, I'm like, do you want me to just listen to you, or do you want to advise?
Yes.
So like
Yeah.
really
There it is.
asking
Yeah.
somebody like, how do you want me to show up here? Because if you want me to tell the truth, I'm gonna tell you what the fuck you doing,
Right.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But if you want me to listen, I'm be like, oh, okay, and I just let the conversation die out on its own.
But
Like,
it's also recognizing what you're capable of.
Right.
Because you may not be capable of what Felicia just said.
Yeah.
You may be like, well, I can't do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
when-
used to not be
when
able to
you're
do that.
done
Child.
dating said person, maybe we can be friends.
I know, and I feel like
I
that's
love
like
you.
messed up too to say to somebody, because that's what she was feeling like. You can't put like stipulations on a friendship, and I'm trying to understand her point of view where she was just like, I feel like I shouldn't have to change who I am to be your friend. And for real friends, you just accept me for who I am, and I get that, but it's also like I can't. Maybe I
It
just
goes
can't.
against your value, your like moral value compass.
But I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, I only have a couple things. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
don't.
which
that's
is fair.
fair.
That's
That's
Completely
fair.
things
No,
that I don't
that's
want people to
fair.
do. Like, you can't murder somebody, molest children, or like, you know,
Yeah,
sleep
no,
with
that's
people's
fair.
husbands. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, I
Anything
think
else, I'm
that's
down
fair.
to ride. But
Yeah.
I actually believe that, because I was thinking, because I knew we were going to talk about friendship soon.
Mm-hmm.
This is related but unrelated. I was thinking that if I had to hide a body, I would call Ashley.
I definitely got you, boo.
That's all. I was
Any of y'all, we hiding bodies. Just don't kill nobody that didn't deserve to die.
Noted. And I
didn't
make sure
deserve
of
to
that so that
die.
you don't judge.
No judgment.
But on the flip, if we're down for the flip,
Yeah.
I think that sometimes finding friends in adulthood can be really challenging.
Yeah.
And I feel like something like what we've created, and not just like the Mama's Den, not the podcast, but like each of us sort of found each other at times in adulthood where we needed it and then also poured into said relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like personally, I have met the best friends of my life as an adult.
Yes, that's what I'm like.
Oh, no, Cody.
Yeah.
I like up here.
I love the homies
because they
up
just
here.
get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the energy or where we're at. I think all of us can say this. Like where we're at in life, I feel like is a very like big. I don't know. It's like a big vibration. So the smaller vibrations, I'm like, though that wave, I'm not really on.
Yeah.
So the people that I am attracting, or vice versa, it's like. It's just friendships that I'm like, damn, I feel like I know you for a long time.
Yes.
And you just get me.
Yep. Because, your old friendships, I think, like you were saying earlier, like a lot of times you keep them because you've known people for a long time, but you've grown and you've changed, right? And I think as an adult, it's easier to make friendships based off of who you are now. And that just speaks to more.
Because you know who you are.
Yes.
All of you guys, I feel like you friend the way I friend, you get it, you communicate the way I do. But I also think that when I started to just allow people to leave my life and be like, you know what, Ashley, you have to just let it go and allow yourself to understand that something better is always on the horizon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's in friendships as well. And I don't, y'all, like, I swear to God, it's so easy. And I didn't even know friendships could be this easy.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
When I started to attract healthier friendships, my other friendships, I started looking like, you have to go. Because if you move, I know another solid person will pull through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you said your one friend, she's here now, right? You guys have been best friends for
15
a long time.
No. So one of my best friends that I've made as an adult, when I lived in New York, we became friends. She's now out here. She just moved back out here. She's now a mom. She has a fiance. They moved out here. And this is like one of my best friends from when I lived in New York. So for me, this is like my dreams coming true.
Right.
Yeah.
Like having a friend that close at this stage in her life, going through motherhood together. Our daughters are going to grow up together. They're literally less than a year apart. Like it's the same thing with Ashley. Like finding Ashley at a time, like, and I always said this, when I had Cameron was born in 2016. We didn't know each other yet, Cody, but I didn't have any friends who were having babies in that time. And Ash had Azara, right? And I didn't know them yet. So I felt very isolated in that time of my life of having a baby because I had no friends that were moms with children that age. All my friends had either already had children, their children were older, or they were behind and like weren't looking at children yet. So now this stage of my life, having friends through motherhood has been ace, like aces for me. Like I realize that this is the tribe that I need.
Yeah.
It's what I'm passionate about. It's what I feel like my purpose is for this second half of my life. So I feel like that community of people around me is what I actually need for this time of my life. And, and I also want to shout out the friends that I have who don't have kids that check for me always. I have a homegirl named Jasmine, and she literally will invite me to every single thing throughout my pregnancy. She invited me to she's a DJ. She would spin. Okay, I'm doing this little thing. Girl, I got to put you on the list if you want to come. Just making sure like always. My girl Jazz is aces. She is an amazing auntie and she's an amazing friend, even though she's not a mom.
That's so
she
important.
literally checks for me and is always like, everything I'm doing, I'm always going to invite you, because that's also a part of it too.
Yeah.
Sometimes your friends without kids, sometimes even your friends with kids be like, oh, they got kids. They don't have time for it. Ask me.
Yes.
I want to go out too.
Listen, sometimes I don't ask you because you live far, but I'll start asking you.
Okay, Jerome. Jerome always says that. That is so rude. You guys are like
so rude.
distancers.
I don't want to stress her out.
That's not stress.
No, let me say no.
Driving,
decide that.
driving is a part of my life. This is what it is. This is LA. You got to drive everywhere.
You doing me like that too? Like, oh, I didn't tell you because I know you could. Let me tell you no. That's all I ask. I'm gonna say no. I'm
gonna say no, but let me say
even though Ashley says no to everything.
Yes,
she does, but she wants to go out, but I don't really want to go out.
Just
like,
give me
that.
Because there might be that one time that I say
yes.
Do nothing. I just give me the luxury of saying no. Okay, I just want to feel like you wanted me there.
Yes, I feel
that's all I need.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation. Can you come? Absolutely not. But thank you for asking.
Oh man.
Anyways, listen. Shout out to the real ones. Shout out to the friends. Shout out to the friends that are no longer around. You were also a part of this journey. But
we love you. That wasn't me. That was Felicia.
But I think it's really important that that we recognize that it's okay to grow. It's okay to grow apart. These things happen. Not everybody can come with you.
Yep.
And just literally grace and communication, I think, are the key to maintaining friendships at this point in your life.
Yes.
Grace, compassion, and communication.
I'm sorry for all those that I was not compassionate to. This is Ashley Chia. I do love you, and maybe I wasn't a great friend, but Godspeed.
Whoop. That's the mama's name.
You about to leave that in there?
Not the small crystal, just